In the summer of 2006, I'd been studying philosophy, world religions, was not really concerned with justifying Christianity. And it turns out that if you seek truth, you'll meet Jesus. I had an encounter with God that changed my life. I remember one of the first things he said, I need you to go to seek the path of enlightenment, for you are destined to enlighten the world. And I remember standing there shaking in the presence of God and saying, well, no, I'm really afraid of this. And then immediately, just out of nowhere, this thought, well, perfect love casts out fear, came into my mind. And I remember saying, well, no, I'm too weak. I can't enlighten the world. I don't even know what that means yet, right? And he said, well, my grace is sufficient for you. My strength is made perfect in weakness. And so it was kind of out of that place that I wound up having this encounter with God that put all of my doubts and uncertainties and questions to rest. Because God was not a concept to be debated or explored. He was a being, a living, unique person that was able to encounter me on a relational level. For maybe the next 6 months, man, I was in church every time the doors were open. I was there just learning. I'd grab old Christians and say, tell me what God has done in your life. I just want to hear. I'm reading books as fast as I can get through them, learning how to pray, learning how to repent, learning how to fellowship, just trying to understand this. And while I was doing that, God kind of started to awaken in me this heart for music. So I told a friend of mine, hey, I'm thinking about joining a band. If you know anybody, let me know. And a couple months later, she called and said, hey, there's this band called For Today that they're not signed to a record label or anything, but they had a vocalist and he just left. And they all love Jesus. And I said, well, that's all I needed to hear. Okay. Over the last 10 years, I've learned that love is messy.
Okay.
And I think we sometimes make such a spectacle of these big Christian events, big conferences and concerts, and the reality is that the most profound things I've ever seen God do were not from stage. They were in a face-to-face, one-on-one conversation with somebody. The context of the move of God is not always or not just in church. That God moves in bars, and God moves in back alleys, God moves in nightclubs if people are willing to step into those places. And so we've had the honor of being able to not just step into those places, but being invited to those places for the last 10 years and having seen thousands and thousands of people all over the world have encounters with the love of Jesus because of it.